The game is changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the pages.
A game that was announced just today here at GDC is Knights of Pen and Paper 2 from Paradox, and we've been taking a look at the game a little bit, gotten our hipster ninja, hipster ninja dwarf, getting him geared up and fighting a little bit in this game. Of course, we remember the original. Can you first tell us a little bit about sort of why do you want to make a sequel and why now and all of that?
Well, personally, it's a pretty easy answer. I think I told you before. When I first got into mobile games, I looked at the stuff out there. And, I mean, there are a few really interesting things out there, but there are also a lot of games that don't really make you jump for joy. And I was kind of giving up on the whole thing when I read an article about Knights of Pen and Paper, and that game, after I played, kind of made me decide to go into this part of the industry. So coming up to Paradox a little while later and being offered a job by them, and them going, by the way, you would be doing the sequel, that was an absolute no-brainer. And as for why Paradox would want to do it, Knights of Pen and Paper 1 has been massively popular, and there are people. Actually, we released a expansion just last autumn, and one of the top-rated ratings on, I think it was Google Play that came out of that, was somebody going, the only tragedy about this is that it's never going to have a full sequel. Well, yeah, at that point you kind of have to do it.
Yeah, I can see that. But at the same time, the developers of the first game were busy.
Yes.
So you were left with a little bit of a problem to solve. And how did you come up with the new developer?
Right, so Behold Studios, who did the first one, very, very talented bunch of people, are currently putting the finishing touches on Chroma Squad. Excellent game, as I am allowed to say at this point without getting paid for it in any way, shape or form. And because of that, we had to look for somebody else. And, well, it was an open pitching process. We looked for somebody who showed both the ability to actually take mobile gaming seriously, which is not that easy, I'm sorry to say, and then also to, well, be the right kind of old-schooly, yet funny about, or humoristic about it, role players and key games, which has, well, if you talk to them about pen and paper role playing, they'll go back as far back as Red Box Edition Dungeons and Dragons, and they have several people who were national Magic champions on the team. Well, they are exactly the right kind of nerd. They've got exactly the right kind of humor, and they've been doing mobile gaming for pretty much as long as there has been mobile gaming. So they're an excellent fit for this.
And then I gotta say that the sort of the concept or the pitch or the setting for this game is kind of ingenious. I gotta say, what is it that's going on, and why are you setting out there to save the world?
Right. So you are playing a group of people who've been playing role-playing games for some time, and you are enjoying it, and you're enjoying your role-playing world. And now a different party is getting into the world, a party full of power gaming munchkins who don't know how to actually play the game, is very important to say. And they've introduced the biggest threat Paperos has ever seen, the second edition of the rules system. And yeah, that kind of edition war is what the whole thing is about. That was an idea from Key, and honestly, at the moment when they pitched that, we knew that they were the right fit. Because it is exactly the kind of joke that you can make a lot of story out of, that somebody who has been playing role-playing games for any length of time will be coming up with.
So is there any of the mechanics that you felt like this is something we want to focus on and switch up and sort of expand with the sequel?
Several things. The two I have shown to you just now and that I think really merit being pointed out are the fact that the combat has been, well, expanded in the sense that we have a few new tactical elements to it. We have greatly expanded the equipment system. The thing I didn't get to show you because we only had a certain amount of time was the dungeon system. There was a dungeon system in Knights of Pen and Paper +1, and it was a very nice one. But now they have, because these are people who have been dungeon crawling for longer than I've been on the planet, to be quite honest. They've come up with a fully dynamic system that's very, very close to the kind of hex crawl, let's map this out on graph paper thing that you have had in classical Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder and all the other D20s for a long time. So it's, yeah, it was a very good idea from them as well.
So is that going to be sort of central to the game, or is that things you do on the side, or how do you structure the game? Because you got a lot of different kind of players with this kind of game coming into it. Some with a lot of experience, and others who may not.
So the basic idea, obviously, is that everybody who comes into the game gets to experience all the content of the. And at the end of the day, that's why we build it. There are obviously emphases though. If you are somebody who plays it for the jokes, essentially, which is absolutely fair. Honestly, I played much of COP 1 for the jokes myself. You will not, very likely not be seeing the end of each and every one of the dungeons. If you are somebody who really enjoys optimizing your party and going down into the nitty-gritties of it, and we have somebody in the company who has spent more than 270 hours on COP 1, well, they will be spending more of the time in side quests that are built so that you can really try a few times and still fail, or, well, spend a little more time in the dungeons. It's really up, well, we'll offer everything to everybody, and you will, no matter what you prefer in terms of playstyle, be able to gauge everything at the end, but in the end it's about how much time you want to invest.
We've been talking about it being a mobile game, etc., but it's of course also coming out on Steam, on PC, Mac, Linux.
Exactly. So launch platforms are, as you just said, Linux, Mac, Windows, iOS, and Android, both smartphones and tablets.
And where are you at in development at the moment, and sort of when do you aim to have it released?
Right. So what I just showed you is an alpha build. We are post-alpha at this point. We approved it. It was a very, very good build provided by Key. We will be releasing on the 15th of May.
Pretty soon.
You can say that again. I'm not sweating at all, I promise.
Thank you so much for your time.
Cheers.
Much that once was is now misplaced, for none now live who possess the old rule book.